All right, next question. From DaBrane, he wants to know, how do you lab progression reads to the point of mastery? The passing game really boils down to identifying who the open man is quickly. If there are multiple open receivers on any one play, choosing the best one for this the situation is usually the deepest receiver available. And I would say yes to that question. So a good question from DaBrane. We're going to go over a couple things right here. If you have two guys open, who should you throw it to? Mm-hmm. One, depends on the game situation. If it's 3rd and 2 and you have a receiver open 30 yards downfield and you have one open 3 yards upfield, it shouldn't always be the deepest receiver because you got to weigh the risk of the situation versus the reward of the play. If you have a wide open receiver 30 yards downfield, it's a little bit riskier of a throw. It's not, of course, if it was 100%, you'd want to throw it to the deep guy. But it's going to be like 50% to the deep guy, 85% to the short guy. Something like that.
I don't even think it needs to go as deep as like thinking, okay, do I need to throw to the deep guy or not? I think you need to plan out your play in a way that it's set up so that you go to when, where, and why. So a perfect example is that if I go 5 wide and we do a curl flat style.
So let's check it out here
play.
on PS3.
Just take man to man. So we beat this to death here, guys. Is the curl flats? I mean, this is our base set. This is what we do, and. If you take a look at the way I had this play set up, what I want to do first is I want to key in, my first thing is the motion to Slater. I need to see, is he open? If he's not open, and I make that determination within about a second, if he's not open, I move immediately to Lloyd on the same side of the field to that out pattern. If I believe I can fit that out in, I will throw the out. My next order of business is to look at Hernandez in the seam because that's my third option, and then after that, you don't really necessarily usually get enough time to go to a 4 and 5 option. I mean, I really need to kind of look at square and circle kind of at the same time, but I really do want to throw to Lloyd in this situation. So my first move, motion Slater. Am I going to get inside position here? I don't think so, so I'm going to the out. Boom.
So that's a 1 and 2 read progression, but it's all based on your play. The reason that when people go rogue, it doesn't work, in my opinion, when you go rogue, you're only really looking for like one thing.
Yes, good point.
When you go rogue, you're like, okay, I think this is going to work right here before the snap. But then when it doesn't work after the snap,
you're in trouble.
Then you don't know the play well enough that you called to say, okay, there's an out here on this backside that's consistently works for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's the thing with going rogue is like...
Do the same thing you did there, too, because that's a good point. Whatever setup you just did there was a good point. Because... Here's the thing about knowing a play, in and out of what it is. Like, everything about the play is like, okay, I see this, and now let's say the out's covered. Okay, I know I have that there. I know I have my streak there.
Yep.
I don't even necessarily I don't even look a lot of times because I'm looking at the safeties at the snap of the ball, and I see that they're splitting deep and there's not a cover 3, so I think, okay, I can probably get that deep streak in. I mean, this all comes with repetition. You're not going to pick this up and start running it perfectly the first time you run it, but after 10 games, yes, you're going to get it. And that time I saw that I had inside position, there was no zone that dropped, so I delivered the fade. So what you need to work on is at the start of the play, if you're saying this is my play, you need to look at, we have 2 deep options. It's not about throwing the ball and saying, okay, I have X open and I have triangle open, but X is going to get downfield more, right, and pick up more yards. You always want to go to the safest option, in my opinion. You don't want to. Yes, X has more big play potential, but it also has a better chance at getting bad things happen for my offense, right? So here it is again. Throw it over. I don't like any of my options. Oh, I go to my third option.
That's why outs are so good this year. And that's why they're good against 2 men under also, because the timing, when you throw an out against cover 3, the timing is kind of makes it your first read.
Right.
Because of just the way that it develops.
Right.
When you get pressed in 2 man under, the timing of the out becomes your second read, because when you're trying to beat man-to-man, you're trying to do something to get a free release and get inside position, it creates the out as the second read.
Right.
So you don't want to get fooled and think man-to-man, out's my second read, or my first read, because then you've already missed your real first read, and then you're in trouble with 2 men under, and that's something that makes 2 men under very good defense. But that's an idea of reading progressions. In what Gibbs mentioned about having one side be man, having one side be zone,
that's
similar
huge.
to that mesh stuff that we just showed.
That's huge.
Very important. Just very important to learn, to help you learn progressions, because if you guess the wrong play, then you're in trouble, but now you're not anymore. And that truly helps you scan left to right. It helps you think about how to set up a play.
I mean, example of that would be, say I have a trips bunch over here on the left, right? And I'm flooding the left side, right? And I'm thinking, okay, he's been playing zone the entire game. I'm going to attack his zone really hard here. But I got to make sure, just in case, if it is man-to-man, I have my man-to-man beater. Because I know if I get man-to-man, that out will beat man-to-man. I'm 100% sure of it, right? So if I do get a, snap the ball, zone, oh my gosh, it's man. Oh, good thing I have my out.
Always, always. So, it's 8:27, guys. This thing's going to open. I'm going to let SGibs get situated.
Got my lab coat on.
This is going to be a tough tournament.